What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today, we have a really cool match history to VOD review. This is Spethom. If you're not familiar with him, actually, Spethom's kind of a long-standing competitive TFT player. Did really well in some tournaments in like past sets. Monsters Attack was the one where he like Giga popped off in, and has placed well in some other cups in North America. But if you look at his match history, you will see something quite interesting, is that pretty much every single game, he is hard forcing this Lulu reroll with, Milio as the duo carry style line. And you can see, I mean, he has been hard forcing this all day, really, from about 0 LP. I mean, he really started playing it a day ago, 0 LP, and he's already 313 LP. So yeah, he's gained over 300 LP forcing this line, and so I wanted to do a VOD review of him and see what his method is. Also, I think I have to move my head down here and cover this horrible yassified version of the cam. I don't know. There's something about it that's like kind of scaring me. And so I think we're gonna get rid of it. If you guys really like that version, then I'm sorry for you guys. We check our Stargazer here. It is the medallion this game. Now I did some peeking into the stats here. I haven't actually asked Spethom himself though. Like honestly, Spethom, if you're watching this video, comment down below with your like tier list for Stargazers here for this line. The statistics that I saw actually said the mountain is one of the best ones. If you can actually reach like the higher tiers of the mountain, that is one of the best ones you can get. But medallion is really good on top of that, because obviously you have that gold generation that you can get from Lulu, and you also just have the hit a bunch of 3 stars, get a bunch of damage amp effect. Serpent also looked really good in the stats. Those were the really big ones, and Boar looked okay, and then Alter and Huntress look really bad. I mean, honestly, Spethom looks like he plays this comp every game, so I assume he's played in Alter and Boar, but they do look quite horrible in the stats. So if we are forcing Lulu, there is only one augment worth taking here, which is just a reroll oriented augment, treasure hunt, and he does actually call Lulu /Def. And hey, that's the upside, is actually you guys can see a little bit from me being in the bottom right here. Maybe I should do this all the time. Nah, I kind of like being in the top right, especially when someone has a cam. But yeah, I mean, this is how we start the game, which if you are forcing a comp is going to be a little rough. We are holding on to these early Stargazer units, though honestly, a lot of them are not going to fit onto our late game board. Twisted Fate is one that will almost always be on this board because it gives you Fate Weaver with Milio, which is really important. So you can definitely hold on to those guys. The Talons don't really matter. You're not going to be playing them later, but you can hold on to them. And I have even seen people play like a Talon Ribbon version of this line. I haven't seen it all in Spethom's match history, but something you could consider. Make the Atrox too here. Really just chilling on this opener. I didn't actually get a chance to see what the gods were this game, because Spethom was playing like connections or something like that. So it'll be a little bit of a surprise what gods we get this game, which will always be fun. Obviously, stuff like Varus is amazing. Get that like all 3 cost shops, or like dupes is, really what you're looking for. But anything really that gives you resources, I would say, would feel really solid with this line, so that you can get to your 3 stars, because it's a pretty expensive board. Upside is you can stabilize on 2 stars on this line, which I think is really the key observation that helps out a lot, is understanding how to actually stabilize this board prior to hitting the Lulu. Because if you are just full open every game into Lulu, you're going to have a rough time. Because this Lulu unit, really solid, great on 2-star, really starts to pick up steam on 3-star. But if you are just, lost streaking and trying to hit Lulu 3, you will die. You will just straight up die. And Spethom, he's taken a few losses here, but honestly, not the worst, 84 HP. And we're about to go into Carousel here and see what our options are. Our items, by the way, our items are not great right now, and it is Varus here. Tiny Dupes is a little rough, but yeah, he is actually going to opt to take Tiny Dupes here. Almost looks as if he is going to, try to play towards this kind of standard, Stargazer reroll. But no, this is a straight up Lulu reroll game. The upside to Tiny Dupes is that this will allow us to hit some of our 3 stars that otherwise, might be a little bit hard to achieve. The 1-cost 3 stars usually are not like rolling really deep for, like Twisted Fate 3, Atrox 3, who Atrox is going to stay on this board. That's why we are holding on to these guys, and just full opening while holding on to them, really just ensuring that we get to that 5-loss streak. I mean, this set, definitely, if you are a one-trick player, the set loves you, because you can just do this every single game, 5 loss, get your guaranteed anvils. I guess for all the people who are true one-tricks, they liked the old, getting the Reforgers as well. But honestly, getting 2 anvils is enough of a bonus here. We see our first Milio here. This guy, you're usually just playing 2 Timebreaker for the entire stretch of this board. Can try to fit 3 in later, which is in some ways a buff to this board, just getting that 2 timebreaker effect, just to get the extra attack speed onto your entire board. I've talked about this a lot. It's like, it's a buff and a nerf, because you're not getting all this econ that you would normally get from playing 2 timebreaker on the version of the board that, you know, you would play prior to the changes to timebreaker, where you would get the EXP and rerolls. But getting an extra 15% AS, especially on somebody like a Lulu, who, if you're getting your casting more, that is actually worth gold, because obviously, you know, in this portal, she's Medallion, and she can actually spawn gold every 6 casts. So it's actually pretty nice. Also, Spethom has no fear of losing to minions. I am like pretty afraid to lose to minions here. Yeah, okay, he does slam. I would be very afraid of losing to minions here, but looks like it's gonna be okay with that gargoyle slam. So looks pretty good. Pick up the Pantheon here, which is nice, and we get some item anvils. So we can start looking at our item economy soon-ish. We do make the gargoyle here, take the bow here. I think the idea is JG Nash, but actually we miss out on it. So ends up having to make actually TG Nash here. The upside is that you don't need to build JG onto stuff like Milio. You will need it for Lulu to crit, but he's just going to throw the Nash onto Milio, one of the best items in this comp. You can use it just on Milio for free, once again, with the Fate Weaver spell crit. And then Lulu, you will need JG to make it crit, but I mean, like I've talked about, I feel like Milio is like kind of the secret carry in this line, the unit that a lot of people think about this is like Lulu reroll, but in some ways it's Milio reroll. Crash Test, Sunfire, Apotheotic Forge. I mean, more items is... I'm actually pretty sure it's not supposed to be Apotheotic. I know Spethom grabs this here. Here, I'm down to check stats actually. Okay, never mind. I'll never doubt you again, Spethom. Actually, it looks like it's pretty solid onto Milio. I will say, they nerfed this item, and so it's actually like a good bit worse, but it actually does still look really, really solid onto to Milio here, so actually seems totally fine to take, and fine on Lulu as well. That is obviously what we're looking for here. Fierce Obsession, I guess, is another option, but I think this one just makes a lot of sense onto these style units, and we are going to push 6 here and start rolling. So, yeah, I think this is one of the key kind of like insights to the comp, is this level 6 roll down. It's a level 7 reroll comp, but it's almost like a level 7 comp masquerading as a level 6 reroll comp, or vice versa. There's a lot of value in just getting to this level 6 here, especially when we have the treasure chest to roll down, but even if we don't, to hitting stuff like the Milio 2, the Jax 2, the Pantheon 2, to help stabilize the board. If you don't hit these guys, it's going to be quite difficult for you to just have enough HP to not die. But by hitting these guys, our board is actually going to get like substantially stronger here. I imagine you do just pick up the Jax here and roll once to crack open the treasure chest, and we do get an item anvil here, which does end up being Shojin, which is pretty nice. And he actually, wow, he's going to roll. I mean, I knew you rolled in this line, but that is really deep to roll. Makes the Shojin, has a pan here, which is interesting. Could end up being, I mean, another Star, like a Stargazer Spat doesn't really do anything here in the Medallion. It actually does like literally nothing. So I guess you can't make that. What would we make here? Bastion Spat? I mean, you can make Timebreaker Spat for the XP. Pretty sure we have to take dupe here. We need the econ, and we do want to go down the path of playing towards Varus. Yeah, I'm actually really curious to see what this spat actually ends up becoming. I guess like Bastion or something. If you're playing the other version that has been kind of like brought up by other people, which is this like MF version of the line, you could make stuff like Bastion Spat or Vanguard Spat, but this line really just does not care about those guys. You really just want to play this very tight combination of units, and then obviously on level 7 you have the Maokai, who we're not playing yet because we don't have it, but it's okay. I mean, the Atrox is somewhat tanky right now. Feels bad that we can't like tank the Pantheon here with the Maokai, you know, the Brawler HP and stuff like that, but it's all good. And we do move items over to the Lulu 2 once we reach her. So yeah, I mean, we're honestly quite broke here, but it's fine. The Lulu is going to make a lot of that econ back, and as long as we can stabilize this stage around stuff like the Lulu 2, and even the TF3, which is a great pickup here, it's interesting. He actually, yeah, I mean, I think this makes sense. With Replicator in, says, I would rather itemize a Lulu 2 than a TF3, and I can just leave the TG onto the TF, and it's actually, you know, quite solid. TG gives some spell crit, or some crit that is then, you know, turned into spell crit by the fact that he is a Timebreaker. And you can just use any kind of like extra random items. We are also holding on to these Atroxes because, once again, we're in the Medallion. Any 3-star that we hit, extra 5% damage amp to the entire board, which is really, really nice. Some extra frontline. We can even, because we're Varus Portal, there's a decent shot that, you know, we get to stage 4 Carousel, we get the 1 dupe plus 5 tiny dupes, and then boom, that's just Atrox 3 out of nowhere. So yeah, I mean, the main question I have for this game is actually, when do you push 7? Because I would look at, you know, pushing 7 soon-ish here. We'll also see item slams wise where where we end up going from here. Definitely need some tank items for the Jax, which we're missing on right now. Like, you can take stuff like Void Staff. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. I almost like the Spark better, but I mean, you can't really make it. So yeah, I guess we're gonna do this. Yep, JG. Eventually we can move over to the Lulu, it looks like. Yeah, our items getting a little awkward here because we want to have the JG with the Nashers together, but then we have the Ari's aura. I mean, maybe you just swap Shojin and JG in this spot here. I think it makes a lot of sense. All right, gonna take another loss here. Bleeding out on HP a little bit. Love some econ here, honestly. Yeah, an exclusive customization is kind of perfect. It's econ plus extra stuff. And yeah, he is just gonna send it completely on 6 here with the idea of we want to hit our 3 stars. We really need to stabilize on Milio 3 to really, truly be in a good spot. And yeah, he is rolling deep here, and even has to give up on some stuff here. Has to give up on the Jackson. Yeah, does find the Pantheon 3 here. Gonna move... Actually, not move items over just yet. Okay, well, we'll keep items on Jax for now. I mean, Jax is obviously great. I imagine the items will move over to Pantheon, especially once we do get the Maokai in on this board. But for now, makes a decent amount of sense. We just can't really afford to move the items over to a unit with no brawler in. We'll see if he wants to do it this round because he did kind of like run out of time. But no, yeah, prefers this. Will pick up the Milio 3 here. Got to get the Nashor's Ari Aura here. This makes a lot of sense. And yeah, he will. Okay, now move the items over and hold on to the Maokai here. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. It's a Lulu reroll line, but it's also not. It's more of like a Milio reroll line that stabilizes, rolling really deep on 6, hitting your Milio 3, and then capping out with stuff like Lulu 3. And Medallion's great for this kind of game plan where Milio can then stabilize you. Look at that Milio, 9,000 damage. This guy did get buffed pretty hard this patch. So thinking about like, why does this comp exist now when like last patch it was like, like not very good, honestly. It's a lot of this. It's just the fact that this Milio guy got a big buff. Once again, the Timebreaker change is actually like kind of a net buff combat-wise to this line. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going for this comp here that would allow it to be good. All right, would you pick up? It's either Nash or Sun. I mean, you could go double Nash here and then move the thingy. It's really tempting. You could go, yeah, he was actually thinking about the Brawler spat, but I mean, yeah, double Nash plus Ari's Aura seems way too tempting to go for. And then you just make the Bastion Emblem and throw this here. Yeah, this looks really, really nice, actually. So we do end up making the Bastion Emblem. And then we move the Adaptive down to backline. Yeah, I like this itemization a lot. The only downside is that, like, we're going to be stuck 3 Bastion for a really long time. The dream, I guess, is eventually we get to Shen. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a rough loss here to a quite strong board. This guy has the Aura farming, 2-star Morgana, also 2-star LeBlanc, just a very strong board there. So a bit of a rough fight, but it's all good. We still got 22 HP to work with and still a quite strong board. Most boards this stage we should be able to beat with, just the Milio 3 and Pantheon 3 in this spot here, especially in a world that is, dominated by reroll. Now, it is very awkward that the E wraps to backline here, but then he's just going to fly to frontline. So hopefully we're okay here. That is a pretty strong Kindred, but I think we can clutch out this fight. Yep, nice win there. 12,000 damage from the Milio. This guy is just an absolute beast. And yeah, we just have to finish out. Really, we have a lot of stuff finished. We just like some util here, right? Wow, we actually... What is this? The idea is we're in a reforged sword here, maybe? I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I was thinking of, being a little greedy here and trying to dig for like either Heal Cut or a Marsh Red, but he opts to just take the BT here. It's got some gold attached to it. I imagine it is going to be Reforged Sword here and then hope that we get like Spark or something. There's a lot of big things that we could miss here. Oh, he wants to roll first for the chest. This is really smart. Ooh, I guess it's Lichbane. Yeah, I mean, seems fine. And then move Adaptive up as a damage item, sure, or as a frontline item. And he does actually reforge and finds Declaw. Wow, not bad. We do also need to slam that Adaptive Spethom, but all good. We'll slam that later. Surely we can win the fight without it. And looking totally fine, not even close. Totally was not slamming an Adaptive Diff unless he really wants to put that on backline. No, I think he just forgot that he had the adaptive, that he the remover there. All right, gonna roll now because we're so close to the Lulu here. This is a comp where, like, you can see, especially if you didn't have the Bastion spat, that level 7 is it. Like, perfect traits, no trait, like, extra unit that you could put in to complete any other trait. The easiest next in you could play on this board is obviously like a Rost here. But pushing, like, rolling a lot on 7 is obviously really, really valuable here because hitting Lulu 3 is just absolutely important in this line. She is, the main late game carry that actually bridges the gap between this like okay level 6 comp where you stabilize around the Milio, and then the Lulu 3 actually bridges the gap to late game, allows you to actually cap out high enough that you can think about like, winning lobbies. This is a, a 2-3 cost reroll line. If you think about a world where everyone else is playing 1 cost reroll or, 2 cost reroll, or even 4-cost comps, the only stuff that's really going to outcap this line are like really, really good fast 9 lines, or like the Giga, you play against the Teemo that has like early learnings and like some Giga augment setup like that board, maybe. But overall, like this is the line that is going to cap out high enough to win out lobbies. Ionic Spark, huge pickup here, going to allow us to get some MR Shred finally onto this board at 5-5, and then the dream is maybe get some heal cut off of Dragon here, but we'll see. Ton of damage blocked for the Pantheon here. The other nice thing about this line is there is a lot of variety in tanks. So you can see, like, we hit the Pantheon this game, but hey, maybe Stargazer is not super contested this line in this game. Maybe we can actually hit a Jax 3 here. Or the dream of all dreams is to find the Maokai 3. Obviously very, very expensive, but if you can reach there, I mean, he can cap out very, very high. And look at that. Top 4 already locked in here. We were 22 HP. We were in 8th place. And now all of a sudden we are just low-key winning out. I mean, we have level 8 to push next. The Rost, hugely important on this board, like we talked about. I mean, 4 Bastion wouldn't be bad on this board either, honestly. But definitely the attack speed from the Rost can be really nice here. This board is actually pretty weak. Still hasn't actually managed to find Yitu. So I think we're just going to farm this guy. Yep, easy fight win here. This guy's going to drop down. And yeah, if no one can cap into like a really strong, like, fast 9 comp, I mean, the game is ours to lose at this point. There's really nobody standing in our way here. But yeah, gonna look to push level soon. Probably wait a little bit because we are just win streaking so hard. We have so much HP to work with. We don't really need to like Giga send it unless we're really afraid of our matchups, right? We could look at our matchups though. Honestly, we have so much gold here. Yeah, we don't even need to not. We do find the Rost here. Super nice in onto this board here. I think the only thing that could be better, like I said, is like maybe a Shen. Get the Anima Visage here just as a random tank item, because I mean, we're kind of done with damage items here, and yeah, we are just going to roll down here. Yeah, I think he's trying to think about if I want 4 Bastion, or I think he would actually... I kind of like the Rost better just for the attack speed, but we'll see what he does end up capping out at. And once again, talking about capping, we clear this board here. I mean, it really looks like once you get to the max cap of this board, actually reaching the Lulu 3 and everything else, like who can actually stand in your way here? Not Mortdog Augments. Okay, this last person here, the first place player who we are going to fight there, looks like they have a pretty capped board. So it'll actually be cool to see how our board does into theirs. Do pick up a Rost here. So on the way to Rost 2, which is obviously big. And yeah, so this is the guy who managed to find Graves too. Their items are in kind of weird spots. Not sure why target lock is not on the Graves here, but has the Yi2, the Graves too. But I mean, look at the amount of damage that the Lulu is doing. That, I mean, I wish he had changed the damage chart over there so I could see damage, but Lulu plus Milio just doing an insane amount of damage. Find Ross too, which is so good. This means that we're getting more stats onto our entire board. And yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone can stand in our way. I mean, this comp is really solid into these like Yi style lines where you just have this giant front line that sits there, tanks the Master Yi. Lulu can actually like blow him up through stuff like Edge of Night, because obviously she can proc Edge of Night with just a random star, and then the next star can end up killing it. Or I guess in this one it's a coin that she's throwing. And look at that, the game is over. It is already a dub for Spethom on this line. I mean, just a beautifully played great game, and it just shows the power of this line when you reach the cap. We rolled so deep on 6, but then we were able to make our econ back with everything they have going with the medallion. I mean, it was a pretty easy game, and I think this line is actually going to see a lot more play over the next few days as people realize that it is just really solid. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Helps me out a ton if you like the video. It's completely free. Subscribe down below. Like I said, getting near to 50K. Oh my god. And comment down below, what do you think about this line? Have you played it? How do you feel about the patch? All that kind of stuff. Check out my Twitch down below, where I will be streaming tomorrow and every day starting at 8 a.m. Pacific, and my Metafy for all your coaching needs. That's it. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, and also I'll leave links to Spethom's, all of Spethom's stuff down below. He's actually a super nice guy. I actually met him very briefly in at the Vegas Open, and he was a super nice dude. So obviously I'll have a link to his Twitch down below, and all that kind of stuff, so you can go check him out. All right, bye-bye.